Starting here, what was your impression of Calvin Shepard and John Morton speaking to the media for the first time? Sitting down with Fox 2's Dan Miller, the Lions play-by-play voice. You could kind of get a sense, my opinion was, that Calvin Shepard clearly has more of a comfort level speaking to the media. I thought he delivered the message, talking points, what you wanted to hear from Calvin Shepard regarding wanting the defense to be relentless, kind of talking about Terrion Arnold and his development, knowing that Calvin Shepard did admit that there were opportunities maybe he could have taken outside of the Lions, but he wanted to stay and really work for Dan Campbell. It would have been hard for him to leave, knowing that Dan Campbell really was one of the key people that pushed him to be a coach and to work his way up the Lions organization. Also, too, the little nugget that hey, working with the outside linebackers at first was something that was challenging but welcome because it helped him to develop a way in which you maybe learn techniques different from the position that you played. So it helps you to continue to be a well-rounded coach. And that's why you get interesting moves like, Scotty Montgomery moving from running backs coach to receivers, Seth Ryan now working with tight ends. So you have opportunities now for coaches to continue to develop and build. And that's what happens. You got to also remember, the likes of Ben Johnson worked with tight ends, then passing game coordinator, worked his way up to be able to become an offensive coordinator. And that's a way to get well-rounded, is to be able to work with different position groups. Now, John Morton was a little bit more reserved. His was more of a traditional type session where it was more direct, but I thought the most interesting nugget was kind of revealing what he felt about his time with the Jets that didn't go well. And I think he gave an honest answer. He said that, hey, I work with coaches that I kind of didn't know, and that makes it tough with a recipe when you're trying to bring people together. But I thought that also, when you look at it, that's a situation in which it's on his record that didn't go well. There were some things, some warts that emerged then, but I think the thing that allows people to should have more confidence with John Morton is that he gained experience from a situation that didn't go right. And I think that him being here in 2022 lends to a lot of credibility. That's how we found him on, how Lines on SI discovered his name and figuring that he was a fit that we posted and shared before he got officially hired. What was your reaction? What was your takeaways? What was your first impressions of John Morton and Calvin Shepard as they stood in front of Dan Miller and sat down and had an in-depth conversation? Something to check out definitely on social media.
Yeah, 100%. I thought both did a really good job, and I think that both of them are motivated. That was really the clear thing that came across to me is both of them are motivated, albeit for different reasons. Kelvin Shepard wants to prove all of the people who have supported him and helped him get where he is today. He wants to prove them all right. He wants to go out there and do a good job. He's very motivated. He loves Detroit. He loves working for Dan Campbell. And so it's going to be really exciting to see him as the pilot of that defense, so to speak. And then for John Morton, he has been a coordinator previously. He did it for a year with the Jets, and he struggled. And, the results were what they were. And he's coming back home to Michigan, and he had helped install this offense when he was on staff a couple of years ago. And for him, that motivating factor is to help bring a championship to his home state. And as kind of that local product, he has a lot of motivation to go out there and help the Lions finish the job. And the one thing that really intrigued me with him is just how much he talked about the comfort level that Jared Goff's going to have in this offense and how they're going to really tailor to his skill set and what he likes. And I think on paper, that's a recipe for success. Now, what that looks like in September and October and November and into, the winter and the postseason remains to be seen. But I think where he's at from a mental perspective, I think John Morton has the right philosophy and the right idea of how he wants to grow this thing offensively. And then defensively, I loved what Kelvin Shepard had to say in terms of just the defense being tenacious and physical and relentless. I think those are all qualities that the Lions have drafted to with their guys that they've brought in over the last 4 years under general manager Brad Holmes. So I love the fact that neither coordinator sounds like they want to change too much of the team's identity. I think that's a recipe for success. They're going to follow the blueprint while putting their own personal spin on it. And I think the Lions have two pretty solid leaders at the coordinator positions in terms of offense and defense, and then obviously Dave Phipp on special teams. So I'm really excited to see how it all plays out. I was impressed by what both had to say, as well as the fact that both of them know what is at stake for Detroit. They know this is a team that's been built to go on a championship run, and they want to go do that, and that's the expectation, and that's really what the Lions need. moving forward after having two exceptional coordinators in their position previously. So it's exciting to think about the fact that in 2 years from now, we could be having the same conversations about Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, about John Morton and not Calvin Shepard. So it's an exciting time for Lions fans. And really moving forward, the entire coaching staff has been finalized.